Have you ever wondered how the British Empire became the most expansive in history? Let's journey back to the early days of England, the 16th and 17th centuries to be precise, a time of exploration, ambition, and the birth of an empire. As the fogs of the Middle Ages cleared, England found itself in a unique position. It was a small island nation, but it had big dreams. At the heart of this period was the formation of the first colonies. These were not just settlements, but the seeds of a global empire. England's reach extended across the Atlantic to the New World. Places like Jamestown in Massachusetts became English outposts, the first stepping stones in a path that would ultimately span the globe. Now let's not forget the importance of trade during this period. The establishment of trade routes was a crucial factor in the growth of the empire. England's merchants sailed the high seas, trading goods from the colonies with the Old World. This not only brought wealth back to England but also solidified the country's influence and presence in these far-flung territories. And of course, none of this would have been possible without the early explorers. These were the men who dared to venture into the unknown, braving treacherous seas and unknown lands. Their courage and curiosity paved the way for the empire's expansion. Figures like Sir Walter Raleigh and Captain James Cook became household names, their exploits and discoveries essential chapters in the story of the British Empire. As we delve into this remarkable period, one thing becomes clear. The dawn of the British Empire was not just a chapter in history, it was a seismic shift in the world's power dynamics. The map of the world was being redrawn, and England was at the helm of this change. As the British Empire began to take shape, the world was being redrawn and the stage was set for an era of unprecedented growth. The 18th and 19th centuries marked an era of rapid growth for the British Empire, but how did it happen? The answer lies in a combination of strategic acquisitions and technological advancements. During these 2 centuries, the British Empire expanded its reach by acquiring territories in Africa, Asia, and the Pacific. This was often done through a combination of trade agreements, diplomatic negotiations, and at times, military force. In Africa, the British Empire established colonies in areas like Egypt, South Africa, and Nigeria. The empire's reach in Asia was even more extensive, with territories in India, Burma, and Malaysia, among others. The Pacific Islands too became part of the British Empire, including Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji. But why was the British Empire so successful in its expansion? One key factor was the Industrial Revolution, which took place in Britain in the late 18th and early 19th centuries. The Industrial Revolution saw a shift from an economy based on agriculture and handicrafts to one dominated by industry and machine manufacturing. This led to significant advancements in technology, particularly in areas like steam power and iron production. These advancements allowed the British Empire to produce goods more efficiently and at a lower cost. They also led to improvements in transportation and communication. Steamships and railroads made it easier to transport goods and people, while the telegraph allowed for faster communication across long distances. These advancements gave the British Empire a distinct advantage over other nations, and played a critical role in its expansion. By the end of the 19th century, the British Empire had become a global powerhouse. Its territory spanned across every continent, and its influence could be felt in every corner of the globe. From the bustling markets of India to the vast plains of Africa, the British Empire had left its mark. The British Empire was now a global powerhouse, with its reach extending to every corner of the world. At its peak, the British Empire was truly a force to be reckoned with, but what made it so powerful? In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the British Empire commanded an unparalleled influence over the world stage. Its political reach extended far beyond the borders of its colonies, shaping global policies and diplomatic relations. As the empire's power swelled, so did the British Parliament's role in governing far-flung territories. The sun, it seemed, truly never set on the British Empire. The empire was not just a political force, it was an economic juggernaut too. It controlled vital trade routes, bringing wealth from the far corners of the globe back to the British Isles. The empire's economic strength was fueled by the vast resources it commanded, from the diamond mines of South Africa to the tea plantations of India. These resources didn't just create wealth, they powered the Industrial Revolution and helped Britain become the world's leading industrial and trading nation. The empire's cultural impact was just as profound. English became the lingua franca of vast territories, and British customs, laws, and institutions were exported across the globe. The empire's influence penetrated deep into the fabric of the societies it governed, leaving a lasting imprint that can still be felt today. But perhaps the most telling testament to the empire's might came during the World Wars. As the world was consumed by conflict, the British Empire rallied its vast resources and manpower to play a central role in the Allied victories. It was a clear demonstration of the empire's global reach and the strength of its dominions. The British Empire had reached its zenith, but as history has shown us, nothing lasts forever. The empire's power may have been unrivaled at its peak, but the seeds of its eventual decline were already being sown. Yet even in its twilight, the empire's influence continued to shape world events, leaving a legacy that would endure long after its fall. Every empire has its end. The British Empire was no exception. So, what led to its downfall? The decline of the British Empire was not an overnight spectacle. Instead, it was a gradual process influenced by a multitude of factors. One of the key elements that played a role was the rise of nationalism. As the 20th century dawned, the people in the colonies started to yearn for independence, to have their own identity, free from the clutches of the imperial power. From India to Africa, the seeds of nationalism were sown, leading to movements and revolts that questioned and challenged the British authority. Then there were the economic difficulties. The cost of maintaining such an expansive empire was astronomical. The two world wars in the first half of the 20th century only exacerbated these economic pressures. Britain had to invest heavily in war efforts, draining its resources and leaving it financially fragile. Post-World War II, the British economy was in shambles, struggling to recover from the immense costs of the war. World War II was not just a turning point for the British economy, but also for the empire as a whole. The war had exposed the vulnerabilities of the British Empire, revealing its inability to protect its far-flung territories. This further fueled the independence movements in various colonies, and thus began the process of decolonization. The aftermath of the war saw Britain granting independence to a number of its colonies, starting with India in 1947. The decolonization process was a challenging one, often marked by violence, political upheavals, and socio-economic transformations. However, the end of the British Empire did not mean the end of Britain's influence. The establishment of the Commonwealth of Nations ensured that Britain maintained its ties with its former colonies. Today, the Commonwealth is a voluntary association of 54 independent nations, all working together towards shared goals in democracy and development. The sun finally set on the British Empire, but its legacy continues to shape the world we live in today. The British Empire is gone, but not forgotten. What legacy did it leave behind? A question that leads us to the heart of its enduring influence. The empire, once stretching across the globe, may have receded into the annals of history, but its echoes continue to resonate in the world we inhabit today. The empire's most visible legacy is, perhaps, the English language. Today, English is the lingua franca of the world, a universal medium of communication. It's the language of the internet, of international diplomacy, of aviation. Its roots can be traced back to the British Empire, which spread this language far and wide, from North America to Australia, from the heart of Africa to the bustling cities of Asia. Beyond language, the British Empire also left a lasting impact on global culture. The legal and educational systems in many former colonies continue to bear the imprint of British rule. Sports like cricket, rugby, and football, popular worldwide, owe their global reach to the empire. The empire also left behind a rich tapestry of literature, art, and music that continues to enrich our world today. However, the legacy of the British Empire isn't just about language or culture, it's also about politics. The empire played a significant role in shaping the modern world order, influencing everything from international trade to geopolitical alliances. Yet, this legacy isn't universally celebrated. There's an ongoing debate about the empire's role in modern British identity, a debate that reflects a wider conversation about the empire's impact. The empire's history is marked by conquest, exploitation, and injustice, a history that continues to cast a long shadow over its legacy. The British Empire may be a relic of the past, but its story remains a fascinating chapter in the annals of world history. It's a story of power and ambition, of triumph and tragedy, a story that continues to shape the world we live in. And as we navigate our way in this world, we do well to remember, to understand, and to learn from this legacy.